All right, welcome to Second Saturday. Happy spring. The weather has changed and I'm outside walking. It's such a pleasure. So we live in this beautiful, beautiful state and county, and I hope everyone is getting some time to get outside and enjoy it before it gets too hot. And of course, we're going to be out walking this summer and this fall, so get into shape now so you can work for our candidates for sure. Um, okay, great. So I've got our treasurer, my father, Les Canges, on waiting room duty. Hopefully he's here and can monitor the waiting room. All right. So we are going to talk today about city council and why it matters. And we're also going to touch on special districts. And we've got several speakers lined up. And a couple of them have to go because they are at DRCOG, but maybe Sharon and Claire, you can talk just a little bit about DRCOG. And let us know what it is and why it's important, because these things are also important. So I am going to start with Sharon Davis, my city councilor. I live in Arvada. She is an at-large city councilor. And Sharon, go ahead and take about 3 minutes, and then we'll even have a couple minutes for questions.
Oh, good morning. Hi, everybody. Welcome. And hello from downtown Denver, where I am attending the Denver Regional Council of Governments board meeting this morning. We're having a retreat. We're discussing and celebrating the wins from 2024. So that's very exciting. One of the focus or foci that we are discussing today is the Agency for Aging. And it's the AAA, the Agency for Aging in the area. And we are shocked to know that 16 assisted living facilities closed this past year. So we do have an ombudsman that's helping to relocate those folks and get them into safe and stable housing. So that was kind of a shocker to us all, just to think about what's happening, given that Arvada and Littleton are two of the fastest aging communities in the region. So we really need to think about that. And that's where we come to local government. We do make a lot of decisions at the local level, especially with land use and such, to build and have these facilities in our community. So that's really something that I'm going to bring to my council and talk about doing these things. We really do have an opportunity and a responsibility to craft language and ordinances that directly affect you. So that's why local government is very important. I am excited to be in Arvada and be at large so I can talk to everybody across the city and the spectrum of issues that folks think about. And really concerned about the unhoused and how we can help them during severe weather, and also to get the services that they need. We need to balance that with things like our infrastructure. And so streets right now in Arvada are one of our top priorities. And I'm sure that Kent and others from the fire district understand that sometimes in our city, our streets are a bit in disrepair. And it makes emergency services and getting those services to us really difficult when our streets are in the condition that they are in. But we are working very hard and diligently on that in Arvada. So please stay tuned for that. I did want you to know that council met yesterday and interviewed three wonderful candidates for city council, for city manager. And next Friday, I do believe, is when that decision will be announced. So stay tuned for that. Again, that with our version of government, the strong city manager, mayor, council set up for our city, it's really important that we have a strong city manager that folks that we can work with, that then also you can work with too. So I'm really excited about our selection for city manager. And please do support your local Dems in these local government races. It's so very important. What we're seeing going on at the federal level, I think that we're going to bring a calm voice of reason to local government, and we're going to try to draw people together and not have this divisiveness that we see at the federal level. We're really working very hard to calm that down and calm those voices and really get some work done here on the local level that will that are going to help overcome those challenges that we see at the federal level, especially with tariffs. The Jeffco EDC just recently, we learned that manufacturing is going to take a big hit, and also our constructors. One of the things we has done, one of their contracts for $130 million here in Jefferson County was canceled due to some of the decisions being made at the federal level. So we as leaders have to pivot and get these folks into businesses, other businesses, and really thinking about how we can make Jeffco prosperous. So if you have a chance, get out there and walk, talk, tell everybody about your who you are supporting in the local races, and let's get this thing done. Do you have any questions for me?
You know, Sharon, you actually took your question time, but I let you talk, so we'll skip the questions. But great. Thank you so much. You can get back to your meeting, and we will go to our other DRCOG person who's on the call, and that is Claire. And Claire, you can take 3 minutes or so to talk about the City of Westminster, and then you are also a candidate, so take a minute as a candidate as well. So you get 4 minutes and 2 for questions.
Done. I will do it. So I am also supposed to be at DRCOG, and a lot of what Councillor Davis mentioned is going to be relevant in what I'm speaking to. But I ended up attending a Westminster Chamber Gala, and so instead of traveling to DRCOG, which I'm going to do right as soon as I get off this call, that went on very, very late. So I was up very late. So and then I have to leave early from DRCOG today because there is an Eid Afghan celebration going on today for our community, which is really exciting. And one of my goals is making sure that more folks in our community know about the different cultural celebrations going on. So I'm going to try to work very hard on that and get a little more integration going than we currently have. All of that said, what is going on in Westminster right now? We have a lot of the similar issues. It's our number 1, 2, and 3 priorities are budget. We are talking about budget early this year. We have things from the federal government that are affecting us around ARPA dollars. We have things around state government that is affecting us as we have a gap in our state budget. So this year, Westminster decided to start the budget process in February 1. So first thing, we just had last week a budget town hall with our community, and that was our chance to reach out to the voices and get ideas about how we cover some of our gaps. We have 2 major gaps we're trying to cover. One is around roads and infrastructure facilities, similar to what was just mentioned. We need to make sure that we take care of our roads. And we saw a decline in folks being active around COVID, and that slowed down a lot of the dollars coming into the city, which has then provided us with a gap that we need to make up for. Our second major concern is around our fire departments. Right now, Westminster has one of the most robust fire departments in the nation and Canada. We are one of 8 departments in US and Canada that has all of the major qualifiers that we do, including a dive team and wildfire training, et cetera. We need 2 more stations, though, in our city because our city is so large, to be able to reach folks in 4 minutes to be able to answer calls. So that call costs for a lot of money. So budget is what we're talking about, and we're still taking ideas. If you have them, we'll be ongoing with this discussion all the way up until the fall, September, October timeframe. Other things going on that I want to announce. Our downtown park, we spent almost 11 million on a new downtown square park. It's going to be worth the investment. It already broke ground last week, which is exciting, and they're moving really fast. It should be done, completely built out by this year, November, and by next year, we'll have all the vegetation in. So if it doesn't quite look pretty, I'm sorry, but it is going in this year, which is really exciting because that will unify that downtown area. Other big news concerning both the downtown and the budget is last week, this Monday, actually, that was this week, we partnered with our chamber with a brand new sponsorship in a new way. One of my goals has been creating new third spaces. The chamber came to us with an idea. Can they revitalize the downtown area with festivals, with bands, with food markets, business markets, things going on every week just to get folks out and about and walking and sharing news and information and having a safe space to be. So we just agreed to do that last week, and that will be kicking off this year. And I'm really excited about that co-sponsorship. On to about me. I am running for mayor, which I'm really excited to do. We made a lot of great strides this year, and I think we can do more. Similarly to the concerns that were just shared, we also are concerned with the unhoused. We have passed recently several measures to help on the unhoused situation. We needed 2 more navigators. Unfortunately, it was a hard decision because it did affect the budget, but it was something that we believe that we needed to meet the need in our area. We also lowered the temperature for our response from 0 degrees to 32 degrees. And I'm saying all this because I think these are humane, right, correct actions that we should take for our unhoused neighbors, and getting them off their feet and into housing requires making sure that they stay alive. That said, it's not a very popular action, right? And so I know that I'm going to be facing a real hard uphill battle, and I want to make sure that we protect all of our neighbors in this time, including our immigrants. And so I'm working with our police force closely on how our responses look with ICE, and including, of course, our unhoused. That said, please go to claireforwestminster.com if you want to help, volunteer, or send me $10. I would really appreciate it. I'm going to drive to DRCOG. Thanks all.
Okay, Claire, I put a link to your donate in the chat. So everyone go out. Claire has a really tough race for mayor. She's got to run citywide, and we need a Democrat. Westminster is not as blue. Half of it is Adams County. So it's a tough thing. And Claire is, as you can tell, an outstanding candidate and will make an outstanding mayor. So please support Claire and all your city council people, especially the ones running this year. Okay, thank you, Claire. All right, Claire is out of here. Okay, so we are going to continue along our way in just a moment. But now that I think a lot of people are here, I just am going to take a moment of privilege and talk about some of what the Jeffco Dems are doing. So we have a new page on our website, which I am going to bring up in just a second. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with everybody. Share. And I know you're seeing my Zoom screen now, very distracting. Here we go. So here's our homepage. At the moment, we're just seeing leadership, but if you want to go read up about the people who were elected in February, they're here. What I really wanted to show you is under Get Involved here. We now have this resistance page, and these are not things that the Democratic Party sponsors. These are not our events, but we really heard loud and clear that people want to know about these things. So as soon as we find out this stuff, we have put it up here. And as you can see, there's a whole lot of just different things you can do. Tesla protests. We've got this Federal Center protest that John Brand, who I believe is on the call, has been going out there regularly. You know, we really need to support our federal workers. This is such a scary time for them, and we need to keep sending the message that that's important. And then we also just put up this deep canvassing. You know, if you're ready to really get to work, this is something to consider, and they will train you. And this is a good group. So we've got that up there as well, and then some other links. So please go check out our resistance page. And then I also wanted to show you the calendar. We have added all kinds of things to the calendar. So you will now see city council meetings and the county commissioner meetings, and somewhere we have the school board meetings. And of course, we always have the Jeffco Dems events and any events for our candidates. So if you are looking to get involved and learn more about city council and even attend city council meetings, which we highly encourage, I know we can ask our next couple of speakers a little bit more about this. But these Republicans show up to these meetings, and you know, they just can be so horrible, and there's not always a voice on the other side. So when you're looking for something to do and you're saying, gosh, I want to do something, try to get to a meeting. Okay, let's stop sharing. And one other thing that I have to do is say that we always need donations. Zoom is not free. We pay for Zoom, not only for the things like this meeting that I use, but also for our initiative chairs, our House district chairs, because let's face it, Zoom is a part of our infrastructure now. And so I am going to drop a link right now. And just to let you know, some other things that we're doing, we are doing candidate training right now for our city council candidates. So we have offered a couple of sessions and we've got more coming. And so we are really getting behind our candidates. There are some costs involved with that. If we have to get a room, if we want to provide some snacks, you know, just other things. We're going to be trying to get some professional trainers in that we will have to pay. So the Jeffco Dems, I believe, are very good stewards of your money, but we do need it. So I've dropped that link. And if you could just give $5 today, you know, maybe 10, or maybe you're in a position where you can give $5 or $10 a month. That's what helps us keep the lights on and keep the Zoom paid for. And the website, you know, that is also not free. We have a great website, a great hosting platform. We're able to keep it updated, but all of that costs money. So please donate. Okay, do we have Mayor Weinberg on?
I'm here.
You are here. Okay,
Yeah.
you are up. If you could take around 3 minutes to just chat about Golden, and then we'll take a couple questions.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about Golden, but I actually want to talk a little bit more probably about city council races in general this year because they're so critically important and they often don't get as much attention as all the chaos and craziness that goes on at the federal level. But Golden is doing great. I say that all the time, and it's truly true. And one of the reasons why we consistently are doing well is because we plan and we're thoughtful and we get great people who serve on council, people who are community minded, who are serving not for their own personal agenda or to advance their political career, but people who truly care about community and serving others in the community. And that's what makes great council candidates. People who just truly believe in where they live and the fact that building strong community is what makes everybody's lives better. When you have great services, when you know your neighbors, when you have opportunities to do things, to participate, to volunteer, that's what makes great places to live. And the only way that you get great places to live is by having great people who are stewards of that city. And that's your city councilors. City council is responsible not just for things like the budget and spending priorities, but hiring great city managers to help with, you know, make sure that the operations of the city, that we have the best and brightest people working for our cities. City council is responsible for, you know, your municipal court, the municipal judge. So on the justice side of things, the direction that the courts are taking in your municipality is set by who you hire as a judge from the city council. So that's also really the role of council. So the whole scope and range of things that we work on is incredible. Most people entering city council maybe know one small area of what the city does. Maybe, you know, you were on a board or commission, or maybe you got really involved in a particular topic. But once you're on council, you have to make decisions about absolutely everything, from police and fire to water and wastewater to planning, zoning, parks. You name it, there are a whole range of things that city councilors are responsible for deciding, and you want your best decision makers on city council, those who will dig into the issue, learn about it, understand it, and really, you know, vote in a way that represents the best of the community. So I am really passionate about making sure that we get great people to run for city council. It's not you know, it's not something that should be done on a whim. It's hard to do. It takes a lot of time, but it also is really rewarding and meaningful. You know that the work that you're doing is impactful, both for the community and the people who live in it now, but well into the future. You know, you're going to do a capital project now. It is still going to be standing 30 years from now. So it's very much a future type of mentality that you need to have in the role. I have four city councilors or four city council seats in Golden that are up for election this November. We do, split every couple of years, and this is the year that the four ward seats are up. Thankfully, each of those ward seats only has to run and reach out to a quarter of the voting population. We do have wards and districts here in Golden, which is really helpful. But a four-person change on council shifts the majority. And so that's where the importance of making sure that we get those great candidates so that we don't have some disruptors coming in and we don't have people who are anti-government or many people do think, Golden's been too democratic or liberal or whatever label they want to put. But it's really important that we get people who are wanting to continue the great progress that we're making. So this is a big year for us in terms of 4 seats that are open seats. 2 are term limited, 1 who's not exactly term limited, but has served 6 years, is not running again. And the 4th is undecided if he's running again. So we could have 4 brand new people. But city council is the most directly involved with the community. We're everywhere all the time. But we also have great opportunity to influence at the state and federal level through wonderful organizations, not just DRCOG, but I'm on the executive board of Colorado Municipal League, which represents all of our cities, and that's our advocacy organization at the state level. I'm also on the executive board of National League of Cities. Those are our federal advocates that we use as cities, and so opportunity to bring my voice, not just of Golden, but of Colorado, to the national stage as well.
Awesome, Mayor Weinberg. Okay, so I think you talked short enough that, we got a question for you. Might the School of Mines be losing federal funding? Great question.
Unfortunately, everybody is losing federal funding. So I don't know of any agency that has been promised federal funding that is not at risk for not receiving it. Universities, for sure, with research dollars. And not only are there federal agencies located on the School of Mines campus that lease space from School of Mines, so there's the real estate aspect of it that's at risk, but also the research. There's a lot of research dollars that go in. Mines, given that much of the research is in minerals, in mining, and things that are not as controversial in this administration. They may be slightly at less risk, but they are still at risk. Just as mines and students, they have a large international student population, both undergrad, but specifically graduate students at School of Mines that are at risk because they are here on student visas. And so there are certainly not the numbers that it's a much smaller campus than, say, CU Boulder or CSU. So the numbers aren't quite the same, but I would say everything is at risk and uncertain and certainly very scary for the people who are directly impacted.
Great. All right. Well, I want to thank Mayor Weinberg for joining us this morning. So we have now heard from Arvada, Westminster, Golden, but we also have Lakewood. And I've got 2 wonderful city councilors from Lakewood. And so we are going to go to Dave Rind first. And Dave, if you want to take about 3 minutes, and then hopefully there'll be a couple minutes left for questions.
Absolutely. So I think Mayor Weinberg really addressed why we should care about who's on our city council, right? You can draw a direct line between what city council does and the impact on your life. It gets to be a little more ambiguous other than the emotional toll that it plays on us at the national level and somewhat to the state level. But things that happen at the city level really affect us directly. And if we don't want to read in the Golden transcript or the Jeffco transcript that we have a megalomaniac who's just cutting people based on algorithms and throwing out programs that they don't like, and obviously a little overly dramatic, but it wasn't that long, right? It wasn't that long ago that we didn't have Leslie Dahlkemper, that we didn't have Andy Kerr, that we didn't have Zenzinger, right? It was the opposite. It was a 2-1 split on the Republican side, and we saw how that worked out. It wasn't that long ago that we, Roger Lowe, Councilor Lowe, and myself, and And there was 5 of us that came in on a wave on Lakewood City Council and changed it from being a dysfunctional city council. Not because of, there were some good people on who were trying to do some things that were stymied at every turn because other folks had different agendas and other dramatics that they were trying to push through. And now we have a city council that I would say is progressive, but not only do they have the progressive ideas, they're willing to do the work. We are doing the work and we're getting things done. It's one thing to vote for candidates who have good progressive ideas or good ideas. It's another one to be looking at who's going to get some stuff done. And we don't have time to fool around at the city council level with just talking about 21-point policies and thinking big thoughts that ultimately aren't going to really affect us. I mean, people voted us in because they wanted us to make sure that they're getting good basic government services and they're getting things done. And we have a navigation center that is that has been up and running. It's going to go through some renovations. We're crossing our fingers that those renovations get done by the end of the year. But so we're looking to take care of our unhoused. We're looking to figure out how we make housing more affordable. Right, we're baby steps, but hopefully we're moving in the right direction. And there's going to be a lot of people yelling at us in the next few months here because the city's unrolled the new vision of what it wants to be in 15 years or so. And we're going to try and implement that vision through a zoning plan. And there's some controversial folks. We have some folks out here that are like, we got ours, shut the door, right? Don't let other folks in. Why do we need to let other people come in? We get that question, right? And that's not the values that we stand for. We stand for trying to make sure that everyone has opportunities. And we try and implement that at the city council level. So that's why I'm so passionate as to why we should be caring about our local government. It's not as sexy as what's happening at the national level. Doesn't get the attention. And we're glad when we don't get the attention because that means we're getting things done and we're doing it right.
All right, Councilman Ryan, thank you so much for that. And you were pretty short, so we will take one question for Councilman Ryan if you have a question about Lakewood. And which ward do you represent?
I represent Ward 4 around Green Mountain. And to the extent I have any extra time, I would like my esteemed colleague, who's much more articulate and much smarter about some of these things, to take that minute and say, here's the things that Dave didn't tell you about that you ought to know about.
Okay, well, we're going to get to Councilman Lowe in just a second. But I just wanted to mention here that we had a special election in Lakewood recently, and the Democrats just stomped all over the Republicans, making it a truly progressive city council. So congratulations to Bill Furman and Ken Cruz, who just got elected. And so, these elections matter, but when we work it, we win. Okay, so on to Roger Lowe.
Good morning, Jeff Godems. Councilor Ryan, don't believe I agree with every single thing he said except the last part. Don't let him set expectations in that way. But I totally agree with everything he said. I agree with everything Mayor Weinberg said. I agree with what our other local electeds have said. This stuff really matters. Number one, yes, we did score big wins just a couple weeks ago. I'm really excited to get to work with my fellow co-councilor-elect, Ken Cruz in Ward 3. He's going to be great. I also represent Ward 3. Dave covered a lot of ground already. I would just say this, thanks to the hard work of so many on the Zoom, Jeffco has moved in a really exciting blue direction, which is why we get, folks like Commissioner Dahlkemper and Commissioner Kerr and Commissioner Zenzinger and so many others. And we are now a blue part of the country. That's exciting. That's great. The last election showed that. And that also gives us a real responsibility in the national fight against Trump and Trumpism. It is incumbent on us as Democrats to demonstrate that in areas of the country where we're in power, that we can govern, that we can get results for people. Driving a stake in the heart of Trumpism, which we must do for our own survival means showing people that we can, not only that we can protect democracy and protect people's rights, which we have to do, but also that we can, put in place policies that are going to, help people deal with the affordability crisis that they're feeling, that will put them on a path to opportunity. I'm going to share one very depressing fact. In 5 of the bluest states in America, New York, Oregon, Washington, California, and Hawaii, those are also the states that have the highest rates of homelessness. Now, there's a lot going on there. But part of what's going on there is we as Democrats in areas that are blue have to be able to demonstrate that we can move the ball forward on housing affordability and homeless. And I do think that we can, as Trump sort of lets the world burn on our carbon goals, we can do more at the local level on carbon. As Republicans scaremonger on crime, we can show that evidence-based strategies to prevent crime work at the local level. And those are some of the things we are doing in Lakewood. Just very briefly, the passage of 2A last year, along with 1A, thanks to the leadership of Commissioner Dahlkemper, has showed, what a good fiscal policy looks like. And we've demonstrated that taxpayers are willing to sort of work with us to invest in important priorities to reduce homelessness, to increase housing affordability, to increase sustainability. Lakewood passed a budget that invests in all of those priorities that I'm very proud of. We've prioritized a protected bike lane. We've advanced a navigation center that's providing really important resources to our unhoused residents. We passed a resolution that I'm really proud of that council voted for, I think 10-1, that provides really clear direction on a zoning rewrite that's going to make our neighborhoods more walkable, lower carbon, more mixed use, lead to more housing affordability. And we're now seeing our city respond to that resolution with a zoning rewrite that's going to sort of prioritize those goals. We just repealed and replaced a frankly really damaging policy that was messaged as saving open space, but was in fact about freezing the construction of any new attainable housing in Lakewood. These are all things that we did working together with a good progressive movement, putting our values into action. And as Councilor Ryan already alluded to, we got a lot of work on deck. We've got to actually pass the zoning rewrite. We got to pass a comprehensive plan. We're working on a workable inclusionary zoning policy that's going to not shut down development, but work with developers to make sure that we set aside truly affordable units and generate revenue for a housing affordability fund. We got to work with the county and with other municipalities on a workable regional homelessness strategy that will build on our navigation center to prevent people from freezing to death in the cold of winter. We've got to do more on our sustainability and carbon reduction goals. We got to increase, the bike plan is going to be in front of council to increase bike connectivity. I could go on and on and on, but Catherine has given me 3 minutes and my time is already up. So let me just end with a call to action. We've got 5 seats up in Lakewood this November, 1 in each ward. These races matter. Everything I just mentioned is at stake in these races. We lose these races, everything I just talked about freezes. We win these races, everything I just talked about can accelerate. So for folks that are just like me, like all of us, that are just getting up with like steam literally shooting out of their ears when they read the national news, go knock on some doors in Lakewood, go knock on some doors across Jeffco. Let's get leaders in Jeffco that can put policies in place that look what abundant, workable, progressive policies that actually work for people look like. Let's demonstrate a better way as possible while Donald Trump, shows us what the politics of scarcity and fear and authoritarianism looks like in Washington. Let's show that distinction and then let's take back power in the next few years. But let's start by building momentum in Jeffco.
All right. What a rousing speech. I love it. And we do have one question here. Any info on the ADUs for Lakewood housing issues? Thank you. I don't know what an ADU is.
Oh, can I have another 5 minutes, Catherine?
No, but you can have one.
They're accessible dwelling units. They're important. They're an important prong in an all of the above affordable housing strategy. These are granny flats. These are sort of the ability for folks to build a second unit if they want to. It's also, this is a progressive idea, but it's also a conservative idea, right? It's a bipartisan idea. You should be able to do what you want on your own property in terms of building a second unit. So your mom can move in, or your kids can stay there, or you can rent it out and make some income. There are some folks that have made this very challenging, with overly restricted zoning codes. We actually already passed a zoning. We couldn't even wait. We didn't even wait for the zoning rewrite this year. Last year, we put in place a new set of dimensional standards that are going to make it easier to build ADUs. I'm very excited about that. We should do more in the zoning rewrite in Lakewood. But the other big problem, actually, there was just a great article in the Colorado Sun about this 2 days ago. Our own Rebecca Stewart is pushing a bill that would require that water special districts tie their tap fees to actual costs and actual water use. There are some special districts that charge upward of $30,000 for a tap fee before even construction starts on an ADU. This is often a prohibitive barrier to ADUs. That is a state problem and a state policy. So and Rebecca Leader and Sheila Leader. Need more coffee. Sheila Leader, Rebecca Stewart, both championed this bill in the House. It would make a difference. I had a chance to testify in support of it. So let's regulate tap fees so that they're not a prohibitive barrier to ADUs. It's an important thing that could help us have more ADUs.
All right, that was great. And we are going to hear from Representative Leader a little bit later. Okay, so those are the city councilors and Mayor Weinberg that we had teed up, but we are not done talking about elections that matter at what this lower level. There are also special districts. And so I've got Commissioner Dahlkemper, who is going to give us a little bit of an update on Jeffco, and then take another minute to talk about special districts and why they matter and give us some information. Those elections are May 6th. Most of them you can get at least an absentee ballot, but you have to put a little bit of effort into it. Otherwise, you actually have to go to someplace on May 6th and vote. So, but we want Democrats everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. So these special districts are important too. And so I am going to turn it over to Commissioner Dahlkemper, who's going to talk about all those things. And you can have 5 minutes, Commissioner Dahlkemper.
Great. Thanks so much, Catherine. And it's great to see everyone this morning. I just want to thank Councilman Lowe for that excellent shot of dopamine this morning. That was great in terms of hearing all the incredible work that's underway, not just in Lakewood, but from all of our councilors and our mayors across Jefferson County who have spoken this morning. And we'll touch a little bit more on what's happening at the county level. Quick update on the county, then we'll shift to special districts, specifically our fire rescue districts and some critical races underway in different parts of the county. First, I wanted to share with you, because we've received a lot of questions about the impact of federal funding cuts and the tsunami of White House executive orders that have been coming our way. How are those going to impact Jeffco? We want you to know that we are advocating for our county at the state and the federal level. We want to thank Congresswoman Pedersen and members of our Colorado congressional delegation who have worked with us side by side as we navigate these potential changes. I also wanted to share with you, in case you're wondering, that Jefferson County receives a little more than $200 million in federal funding, $200 million. And half of those dollars are allocated to human services and then go to the most vulnerable families and children in our community. And at a time when we're seeing increased concern about homelessness, housing affordability, as well as food insecurity, those human services dollars are incredibly important to offering those families some stability. The rest of those federal funds typically go to areas such as public health to focus on preventative disease control, highway safety, wildfire risk reduction, particularly a big issue, as you know, in our county, which ranks #1 in the state because of our population and the number of structures that we have for wildfire threat. They also go to transportation, roads, infrastructure, and more. I'll put this link in the chat in just a moment, but Jefferson County has created a landing page to help keep you informed about all of these issues. And thanks to our public affairs team, we'll update it regularly. I also wanted to mention, to dovetail on Councilman Lowe's point about the incredible work that we're focused on at the local level and the amazing opportunities that we have. Jefferson County recently, the Board of Commissioners approved a housing plan that will help increase affordable housing in Jefferson County. Both Commissioner Zenzinger and I serve on the Housing Advocacy Committee along with Mayor Weinberg and other elected officials in Jefferson County, mayors, city councilors, legislators, as well as housing experts, to think about how we wrap our arms around, as municipalities and counties, policies that will lift up and increase housing affordability in our community. So know that we're working collectively on that. We have a climate action plan in place that we passed because we had a Democratic majority for the first time in more than 20 years on the Board of County Commissioners when Casey Ty was still a county commissioner, to protect air, water, and so much more. And we also have a new community wildfire protection plan. I am watching my time, Catherine. So let me shift to one other quick topic and update. I wanted to make sure you are all aware that Jefferson County Board of Commissioners will be releasing information soon about our 1A Citizens Advisory Committee, and I hope you'll consider serving. We're looking for 2 representatives from each of the 3 commissioner districts. In addition, we'll include experts from our Budget Committee and Audit Committee, Remember, those 1A dollars can only be used for public safety. That includes wildfire resiliency, overall public safety, mental health, as well as infrastructure, which focuses more on roads, culverts, bridges. Let's shift and now go to those special elections coming up, especially with a focus on fire district board elections. I want to start first with West Metro Fire Board. Both Commissioner Kerr and I, who couldn't be here today because he's at DRCOG, along with some of our other electeds we heard from earlier, West Metro Fire Board and our foothills communities are holding fire elections, fire board elections coming up. Those elections couldn't be more critical to the leadership and moving forward all the great work that we've done over the last several years to really build wildfire resiliency, protect our communities, and more. And I want to mention to you my strong support for Carolyn Wolfram, who is also supported by the West Metro professional firefighters. Carolyn is extraordinary. She has helped to lead the board in West Metro's search for a new fire chief as Don Lombardi, and huge shout out to Chief Lombardi for his incredible leadership over the years, is retiring this year. This is a key transition in leadership. We need stability, consistency, and the creative strategic thinking that Carolyn brings to the board. I want to thank the board, West Metro leadership, and our firefighters, because thanks to them, this fire district is internationally accredited, holds an ISO rating of 1. And if you're wondering what that means, it ensures that property owners in the district pay lower insurance costs. Big deal to many of our constituents right now. And that's based on the capability of the fire district to serve the community. Both Commissioner Kerr and I have Lakewood in our districts. We strongly support Carolyn. We hope you will too. We also wanted to mention, I'm going over, Elk Creek has 2 fire districts with seats as well. I'm supporting Al Leo and Kathleen Noonan. That's the Conifer Highway 285 corridor, Elk Creek Fire District, and in Evergreen, Stacy Ballinger, Julie Ann Coram, and Ryan Stack. Again, May 6th elections. And thanks so much, Catherine. Appreciate the opportunity to share more.
That was awesome. Okay, so full disclosure, I wasn't even timing you. But you were timing yourself. That was great. All right. Now we're moving right along, guys. We're going to get through this. We're going to get you out of here. Okay, great. So speaking of special elections and Carolyn Wolfram, she is here today. And so we are going to give Carolyn a couple of minutes to talk about her race. Again, that's May 6th. And I don't believe we have any other of the people running for a special district on, but if you are, please message me because I will get you up to speak too. So Carolyn, take 2 minutes.
Good morning, and thank you, Leslie. That was just so lovely. It's also nice to see so many people who took the time out of their Saturday morning to find out all these great happenings in our community. My name is Carolyn Wolfram, and I'm running for re-election onto the District 5 board position of the West Metro Fire Protection District. I am so proud of so much that has happened since my time since 2020 on this board. During this time, I have worked hard to learn and understand the ways this very complex organization operates. That learning has included listening to the experts who do the hard work of firefighting. In doing so, we've continued a culture of the board, administration, and members governing together in order to keep West Metro thriving. We've been able to take great care of our firefighters and members so that they can take great care of our community. I really mean that. It is no accident that, as Leslie said, West Metro continues to be recognized nationally and internationally as one of the best fire departments around. On another note, it's fair to say that West Metro and other special districts are concerned that recent legislative moves in the state will significantly affect our finances. I believe that with the knowledge and experience I bring to the board, I am well equipped to lead us effectively to make certain those impending challenges do not in any way affect our ability to serve our members or our community. And I'm not the only one. I've earned the endorsements of the 1309 West Metro chapter of the International Association of Firefighters, the Colorado Professional Firefighters, State Representative Rebecca Stewart, County Commissioners Dahlkemper and Kerr, Lakewood Mayor Wendy Strom, among many others. I'm proud of all that and would be so grateful to earn your vote as well. There are a couple ways to vote. As Catherine mentioned, this election will be held from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on May 6th. You can vote in person, and I will drop a link in the chat to let you know where those locations are. You can also, by April 29th, apply for an absentee ballot if you can't make it, and that will also be in the link. This is an at-large election, so anybody who lives within the West Metro District can vote for any of the 4 board members running. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks for all the work that's happening around the county.
Carolyn, that was excellent. That was 2 minutes and you covered everything. So Kent has been putting some things in the chat, especially this link for the absentee ballot. You know, we are also used to voting by mail, but you will not get a ballot automatically in this election. You have to apply. It's not super hard, but go to the link that's in the chat. If you're not sure if you live in West Metro, just give it a shot. So we're really excited. Thank you, Carolyn, for coming today. And every race matters, a Democrat in every seat, every seat, every seat. Okay, so you don't automatically get a ballot because special elections are different. They're not held through the county. The clerk's office doesn't get involved. The districts themselves run them. So yeah, it's a very different thing, these special districts. They make you work hard, but your vote still matters. And like, we can so overwhelm if we just all get together and do a little bit of work. Sometimes it takes a little bit of work to be in a democracy. Okay, so, and remember, we used to have to go to the polls on a certain day. Like, I remember when there was no mail-in, like, we are so blessed in Colorado that it is so easy. We've gotten a little spoiled. So let's really get behind these special districts and all the other people that Leslie mentioned. Okay, great. So we are going to move on, and I am now going to start calling on elected officials. So Senator Kolker, I think, had to leave, but he posted something in the chat. And so I am going to now just go through my list and see which elected officials I can call on. And we have Danielle Varda from the school board. And Danielle also has an announcement. So Danielle, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to cover both of those things.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm going to start by apologizing because I am out with my kids today doing kid stuff and also at my business getting it ready for the day. So I'm a little bit on the move, but I am Danielle Varda. I'm currently a Jeffco School Board Director and very grateful for all the work folks have done this last week and weeks to support belonging and come and advocate for sustainability and things like that in the schools. But I'm very excited to announce that finally I can say I'm going to run for HD 27 as your next House Rep. This is Brianna Titone's seat, as all of you know. Big shoes to fill, and I'm ready to do this. I'm very excited to take all the stuff that I have learned from school board, including engaging with community, all the way to understanding schools, back up to the Capitol. Being a parent has helped me understand some of those things, but mostly my connection to Jefferson County, our state, is what is really driving me to be as committed as I can to this. My kids are in almost every county activity. We're Westionnaires. We'll be at Apex today. I have also lived in Arvada for over 20 years, have 2 businesses in Arvada, so really connected to the community and can't wait to represent my neighbors. But I'm excited about bringing school policies into the Capitol. I deeply understand our school finance, and I think that's really important for our legislators to have that understanding, but also work-based learning and the kinds of issues that we've been seeing really prominently around belonging are things that I'm excited to bring from school board into the Capitol. As a researcher, I have been very focused on social determinants of health, those social and economic factors that influence people's outcomes like housing, childcare, food systems. And I've been working with people all over the country to try to solve these problems. And I can't wait to bring some of those solutions with me to my policy work. So my experience in that over the years has really made me prepared for that. But third thing I will just say is, as a small business owner, I really truly know what it's like to try to get started, maintain your business when you have a good idea. Getting people to try to buy into it is such a a hard thing. So I'm a big advocate for small business and growing our economy that way. So I will just end by saying my work now is to connect with voters. I'm blessed to have endorsements from most of the people on this call, and also Rep. Patterson, Rep. Perlmutter, folks like that. So check out my website, vardaforcolorado.com. I'm going to go ahead and put my donation link in the comments. I know what starting a business is like. Starting a campaign is not that different. I need to be able to fund my website, our postcards, our stamps. And my approach is just connect with voters, listen, lean in, and really advocate. So my hope is that you will choose to donate to my campaign today. Help me be as successful as possible, show a really strong start to this campaign. And I can't wait to do the advocacy work and join so many of the great leaders on this call as their colleagues representing our people in Colorado and Jefferson County. Thank you,
Okay.
Catherine.
All right. So Danielle went a little over. She's new.
Sorry.
We gotta get you down to 90 seconds, Danielle. We're gonna get you down. Okay. So, again, we have city councils. We also have a town council in Jefferson County, very small area, but again, every seat matters. And so if you're familiar with Mountain View, it's kind of right along the Sheridan corridor, and they have a town and a town council, and one of those council members is with us today, Leal. You have 2 minutes. Stick to your time.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. And I apologize, my camera is not working. We do, and I will be under 2 minutes, Catherine. We do have, up in November, we have 3 council seats that will be up for re-election or election. I am currently working with a few people who are sort of on the fence about wanting to run for council. It's really important that we engage and we walk around our town and we let residents know what we're working for in terms of our housing, in terms of our senior community. And so my challenge is really getting people fired up to understand that their voice matters. And we have significantly, something I'm very proud of is we had a very low turnout in attendance at council meetings. Now, consistently, our town consists of, let me share with you, a little over 500 people, so we're tiny. But we have about 16 consistent residents who show up every month, have questions, have gathered for committees. And so these individuals have really seen the importance of attending council. And these are the people that are really wanting to make a change. So I'm very grateful for that, but that is my challenge. And anything that you can provide me to help me in encouraging and sharing and motivating residents to run for council, these are critical seats. We need to get Democrats in these seats.
Thank you, Leal. And Leal, I don't believe that I have the information about the Mountain View council meetings. So if you could email me with those details, when and where, and we will get those up onto our calendar.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Leal. All right. We have another member of our school board on the call, Mary Parker. You have 2 minutes.
Thanks so much, Catherine. Yes, I just wanted to remind people that this year in November, we do have the school board elections, and there are 3 of our 5 seats up for election this year, which means the majority of the board will be decided in November. That's very, very important. We're facing a lot of critical cuts, and we have to find ways to increase revenue and actually probably continue to cut expenses. As you heard from Danielle Varda, she's running for state rep now, so she will not be running for re-election. And Paula Reed is also not running for re-election. I am considering my options. I do think it would be very helpful to have somebody who has had more than 2 years of experience on the school board to help us navigate these really critical times. So anyway, just wanted to put that on your radar. That will be coming up, I'm sure, ramping up in the summer time for that. And we, in addition to facing significant funding challenges, we've also been facing an awful lot of negative press in the school district. And we need some support to address those issues. We've been doing a lot of good things in the district by having school safety seminars, by having presentations by child abuse advocates. And every time we are made aware of some situation, I feel confident that the district and the superintendent have been acting appropriately. But it's a rough time now. And last Thursday, we had about 40 people sign up for public comment. That took about 3.5 hours. It's really challenging right now on the school board. So I just appreciate all your support. You guys have been wonderful for us, and I look forward to talking about it more in the summer. Thanks.
Thank you, Mary Parker. Okay, so yes, we would be remiss to not mention that this year we also have school board elections. And as Mary Parker explained, we will be having those. And so back to my plug for giving the Jeffco Dems money. We don't give money to municipal candidates because there's just so many of them and we could never actually do it. But school board is a little different. And in our budget this year, we have enough to, if we get one Democrat and only one Democrat, because we have to play fair. If there's more than one Democrat, we don't play in terms of money. But we do have some money set aside to donate to the school board candidates this year. So if you give the Jeffco Dems money, it goes right into that school board race. It is so critical. We cannot afford to have Republicans on that school board. Oh my God, no. And also just to plug, the school board meetings are also on our Jeffco Dems calendar. And we need those voices that speak to our values. There's some really just horrible people who show up to these school board meetings and make it hell. So go and be that voice of our values, of compassion. And I think compassion is really the word we need with the school board right now. We really need to bring that to the table. And that's what our current school board is doing with the Democrats we have on it. Okay, so we are going to move along and we're going to shift over to the State House and hear from Representative Sheila Leader. Sheila, I'm timing you. You got 2 minutes.
Hey, can you pop to someone else?
You don't want to talk right now?
Well, what I'm trying to do is I just finished one Zoom and I'm literally trying to join on my laptop, so it's a lot better.
Okay, we'll skip you for now.
Thank you.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. And
so let me in. Okay.
I'm going to get to the candidates too. I just got to get through the electeds first. And I'm just going through my list here. And it looks like I did get to all of the electeds. So now we're going to go back up to the top. I'm doing this in alphabetical order. Oh, I have to let Sheila in. Okay. All right. Who else do we have? Who are my candidates? All right. We have George Lawmeyer, and he is running for county clerk. He's a 2026 candidate, but we'll go ahead and George, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. It's good to see so many familiar faces. I'm George Lawmeyer, and I'm running for clerk because as I grew up, I realized how important service and democracy was, not just to me, but to those I cared about in this community the most. For example, I was born and raised here, and the first time I left was when my career began as a security specialist in the Air Force. And there I defended democracy and our right to vote with my life. I would love to talk about the SAVE Act more, but I'm on a time limit. But that is coming up in the Senate next week. After my time in the military, I studied how democracy is supposed to work in college, followed by a career in public relations, learning to connect with communities just like this one. Later, I taught as a special needs and social studies teacher here in Jefferson County, and I honed my compassion and my empathy while serving those who needed support the most. When we had Colorado's education crisis and it led me to change paths, I joined the clerk and recorder's office. And there I spent 7 years as part of a team that created and protected the best election system in the country that we enjoy today. Since then, I've served on numerous committees, built important partnerships, and engaged my community through volunteerism. And my next set of goals is to continue to improve the security, accessibility, and transparency in our county. That's a big task, but I'm ready to do exactly that. I'm also ready to lead and defend the best election system in the nation, and you can know that because I helped build it. With your support, I'll continue defending democracy as though it's on the ballot, because it is. I'm George Lohmeyer for Clerk and Recorder, georgelohmeyer.com. Thank you very much. I'd also like to point out that my opponent and I have orange and blue coffee cups. Go Broncos.
All right, so we are going to go to one of our statewide candidates who has been patiently on the call since 9 a.m. And I got a great chance to meet this gentleman. And so I am going to introduce him to all of you. This might be the first time you've heard from him. And so Michael Dougherty, that's Dougherty, I think I pronounced it right. We have a Dougherty here in Jeffco, so don't be offended if we get it wrong. And so you have 2 minutes.
Well, good morning, Catherine and Jeffco Dems. I'm Michael Dougherty, and I'm running for Attorney General of Colorado. I'm really excited to be with you today, and I appreciate hearing all the updates of the outstanding work going on throughout Jefferson County. I'm running for Attorney General because I'm determined to fight against Trump and Musk and stop the administration from harming Coloradans and making sure that we're able to uphold our values and the rule of law. And I've been fighting for justice and the rule of law my entire career. And I will tell you, on election night, when the results came in and it was clear Trump was going to win, my wife looked at me and said, "You are running for Attorney General." And that's because throughout my entire career as a prosecutor, and I've been the elected district attorney for Boulder County for the past 7 years, I've been standing up and fighting for the rule of law. And in taking over for Phil Weiser and that office of 400 attorneys, it's going to take legal experience and leadership experience. Before moving to the great state of Colorado, I was in charge of the Manhattan DA's office in New York City, overseeing and leading 1,300 people. And I moved to Colorado to work for the Attorney General's office. And shortly after I moved here, I had the honor of being promoted to the head of the entire criminal section for the AG's office. So I've handled cases involving environmental crimes, public corruption, homicides, all throughout the state of Colorado. I'm deeply committed and passionate about the role and impact of the Attorney General's office. I'm not term limited, and I'm not looking for a new job. I'm running because of the threats Trump and Musk present to us, but also to build a better future for Colorado when it comes to environmental protection. Consumer protection is important to me. I don't know about you, but I'm on the do not call list. I feel like I'm on the please call me with another scam or fraud list right away. That has to stop. We have to go after those offenders. And in Jefferson County and other communities, our older members of our community are falling prey to these scams over and over and over again. So consumer protection is important to me. And that's why Phil Weiser and I teamed up last year to bring an action against a Boulder-based realty company that was preying upon tenants. At a time where people are having trouble putting food on the table, the last thing we need and can tolerate is unscrupulous landlords scamming people out of their security deposits. So Phil and I brought this civil action and secured a $1 million settlement for the victims in that case. We need to do more of that as a state. I'm deeply committed to fighting for Colorado, for public safety, our environment, our consumers, and our workers. That's what I've been doing my entire career. The campaign's off to a strong start, and I really appreciate all the support right out of the gate, including from Nicole Hensel and Claire and Commissioner Dahlkemmer and District Attorney Alexis King. And to me, I'm honored to have those endorsements and support, but they speak to the fact that I have a proven track record in standing up for what's right. As District Attorney for Boulder County, I've handled major and horrific cases, but also been a leader on criminal justice reform. That's what I promise to do if I have the honor of being elected. I'm happy to take questions if we have time, Catherine, but I'll also put the website and my email in the chat so people can reach out to me directly.
All right. Yeah, we're going to keep moving, so no time for questions, but yes, please do put your contact information in. And so I also just remembered we're having a Cinco de Mayo event, which if you got the email, which most of you did, it's going to actually be on May 4th, which is Star Wars Day. So you can bring your lightsaber. That'll be okay. And your Mexican hat. They'll be a great pairing. So those details are going to continue to come out through our email list, but hopefully a lot of the people like District Attorney Dougherty here can come and see us there, and we can meet him in person. And I know he's doing events in Jeffco. We have other statewide candidates. I don't think any of the rest of them are on the call right now, but we will hear from them as they show up. Thank you for joining us all the way from Boulder. It was a long drive, I know.
Thank you, and have a great day, everybody. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Okay. All right. So Representative Leader has switched over and informed us all. So Representative Leader, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Thanks for the switch. Boy, it's been crazy and it gets crazier as it goes at the Capitol as we head into the end of session. I like to run good policy. I'm about good policy, and I will run bipartisan policy when we are on the same page. So he mentioned tap fees. Rebecca's done the big heavy lifts on that, or I should say Representative Stewart. She's amazing at that. I cannot believe that they're literally trying to control who gets ADUs with tap fees. $65,000 for a tap fee in Adams County, and then it could be like 8,000 over here. It's just all over the board. So that is an excellent bill. And when I seen that, I was like, oh, I would love to jump on this. So I've done a lot of things as well. Other bills, heating and ventilation, the HVAC bill I brought back so schools can actually qualify for IIJA funding money, and the governor loves it. It's the bill he vetoed last time. So hopefully we'll get a bill signing out of that. We'll see. Like I said, the tap fees, I have a smart meter the opt-in, opt-out bill to inform the public about the smart meters when Excel's coming out. The job they've been doing in regards to informing people they're putting smart meters on their homes has not been that good. A lot of people have reached out to me asking me about it. I mean, turns out there's a pretty big lobby there, but a lot of people, this is a constituents bill. I didn't have a lot of lobbyists, that's going to come and do it. It's a constituent. I am their lobbyist because they've reached out to me as the legislator. And then we have the make the senior home tax valuation reduction permanent. When you move, I made it portable when you can take your homestead valuation with you, but it was only for 2 years because everybody knows we're in a budget crisis. So I don't know if that's going to go anywhere this year because of the budget. If not, I will refile next year. We have automated driving systems for commercial motor vehicles. So what that's doing is putting a CDL driver in anything over 26,001 pounds, because right now they have an entire fleet of autonomous semi trucks in Texas, and they're looking to roll them out. And like, you cannot bring them into Colorado. What are you going to have Elon Musk's little robot jump out there and put the chains on coming down the mountain? So I'm getting a bill. I have a bill in there. It's already passed. It's sitting in appropriations. It's got a very small fiscal note on it to actually put a CDL driver in there, and it cannot be completely autonomous until they can do better rollout with their software, and they can actually approve that to us. So that's what we've been busy doing. I got probably 4 more bills coming from the Senate that'll be that still coming from there that I'll be running. And just wanted to say that I am seriously considering a run for Senate District 20 as my wonderful senator moves on to other endeavors. But I just wanted to let people know that. Would love anybody's support. Does that come to fruition soon? So is that 2 minutes, Catherine? Your timing? I'm not. You're the timekeeper.
Yeah,
so
no, you're good. You're good, Sheila. Very good job. All right. So now back to our candidates. You guys are great, sticking on. We still have 40 people on the call. That's great. So we now have another candidate for 2026 for the county clerk, and that is Nicole Hensel. Nicole, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Catherine. Hi, everyone. Good to be here on a Saturday morning. If I haven't met you already, my name's Nicole Hensel, and I am also running to be your next Jefferson County clerk and recorder, but George and I are friendly, as you can see. We like to joke. The reason why I'm running is because my parents raised me to believe that everyone deserves to be treated fairly and that we all have a duty to care for one another. And those are the values that led me to becoming a classroom teacher. And once I was a teacher, however, I began to get really frustrated with the ways that we thrust all of society's problems on schools to solve when it felt like it was actually government's job to solve them. And so that's what led me 5 years ago to leave my career in education and become the executive director of one of the best youth civic engagement organizations in the country, New Era, Colorado. Because the bottom line is, I think democracy should work for all of us to solve big problems and to provide for the common good. And over the last 5 years, I've worked with county clerks all across the state to expand access to our elections and mobilize hundreds and thousands of our newest voters every election cycle. We have to get young people involved in this moment. And under my leadership, Colorado consistently ranks in the top 5 for youth voter turnout in the entire country. These past few months have shown us that nothing is more important right now than protecting democracy. And yes, like George mentioned earlier, we have the SAVE Act. We have these very explicit forms of voter suppression and election denial and praise for autocrats. And those are all incredibly scary. And what also really scares me is the fact that hundreds of thousands of voters chose to stay home last November instead of turn out, that they didn't feel like anyone was fighting for them. Now we're starting to see the tides shift, and I want to be part of this moment. I want to be a leader in this moment where we can rebuild faith in democracy and not just protect it, but build something better than we had before. As county clerk, it is my duty to safeguard our democracy, and doing that in two ways. One, by making sure everyone's voice is represented in the democratic process, holding a very high bar for voter participation in Jefferson County, which we already have. But we know that gaps remain among low-income voters, people of color, and also young voters. We need to close those and make sure that everyone's voice is represented equitably. And then second, the best way that we can rebuild faith in democracy, like many of our city councilors shared on this call today, is by proving that government can work for the people. And as county clerk, I will oversee government services. Then we need to make sure that those are accessible and effective. And that will do a lot to show people that government can work for them. So I'm very excited and honored to be here. I'm honored to have the support of many folks in this Zoom call. And if you want to learn more about my campaign, you can visit NicoleforJeffco.com. I'll drop it in the chat. But again, Nicole Hensel, running for clerk and recorder. And I look forward to speaking with you all soon.
All right, thank you, Nicole. I believe that gets me through. Who did I miss? Are you an elected official or a candidate and I didn't get to you?
Yes, Catherine.
Yes, Clark?
Just one thing. A reminder, tomorrow is the Arvada Kite Festival at Stanger Sports Complex. Rebecca Lovason is running for District 3 in the City Council. John Marriott is the only Republican on that council right now. He's term limited. She's a Democrat, and she'll have a booth there, booth number 82. Also, there's an Apex election, another special election for the Recreation Center. And two other people, Joe Burns and Abby McNeil, will be sharing that booth. So you can stop by there and talk to them and see what their campaigns are doing. Rebecca for Arvada is her website. She's endorsed by Rachel Zenzinger for one. So hopefully we can get another Democrat on the city council in Arvada.
All right, thank you, Clark. And I just want to say that we do have more than one Democrat who's filed in the District 3 race. And so Clark is speaking for himself and not for the party. But if people come up and speak for people, then that's what they do. All right, so thanks for that information about the Kite Festival. That's a lot of fun. The festivals that we have in Arvada are a great time. And that's another thing you can do to support people, you know, just come out and say hi to them at a festival. Like, how hard is that? You know, I've worked these festivals. It gets so slow sometimes and you just want someone friendly to talk to. So go out and help people and have some fun at the Kite Festival. All right, so that is going to bring to a close. I'm going to stop the recording.